Kia ora. So this is the third video showing my working for Achievement Standard 2.14, the Practice Assessment Performing Arts Showcase. So in this third video, I'm going to solve for the child and adult tickets for 2011. So what we're told is the cost of a child ticket was $5 and the cost of an adult ticket was $10. In the fourth bullet point there, we're told that the money generated from the ticket sales was $2,050. So the way we'd write that as an equation is 5x, so 5 times the number of children tickets sold, plus, so it's $10 times the number of adult tickets sold, equals $2,050. Okay, so this is our first equation. Second equation we're given there, xy equals 1,000 plus 100 x. Equation 2. And the third information there, that third bullet point, more than 300 tickets were sold. So I'm going to write that down as x plus y is greater than 300. And that's equation 3. We have two equations that we can use here, equations 1 and 2 unknowns. So we can solve the set of simultaneous equations, but we'll be using the third one to verify which solution is in fact correct. So what will I do first? Having a look at this, I can see it's got an x and an x here and only one y here. So what I'm going to do is to rearrange equation 1 so that I can solve it for y and substitute it into this position here. Okay, so looking at that, I've got 2,050 there. I've got my 10y still on this left-hand side. So I'm going to move the 5x and that will become negative 5x. Then I can divide through by 10, and I'm just going to do this space efficiency wise. So I'll do it like this. So dividing by 10, that's going to give me 205 minus, now in this position here, I could just, it's 5 over 10, so I'll just write a half x. So therefore, y equals 205 minus a half x. So at that point, then I will look to substitute this equation, which I'll call 1 star. So I will substitute 1 star into equation 2. So I'm going to be substituting into this position, put brackets just to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So here we go. So x, instead of writing y, I'm writing 205 minus a half x equals 1,000 plus 100x. Okay, I now have one equation with one unknown, but I need to look to expand and simplify, then set equal to 0. So we'll expand out the set of brackets now. Okay, multiplying through by x, we get 205x. X times by negative a half x is negative a half x squared, and that equals 1,000 plus 100x. Then I'll just look to try and tidy this up. So what I can do is, if I just move everything to the left-hand side, I'm going to write my negative a half x squared first, highest power. What have I got? I've got 205x, which is positive. I'm going to minus off the 100x, and I'm going to minus off the 1,000 and set it equal to 0. So simplifying there, negative a half x squared plus 105x minus 1,000 equals 0. Now, to make it a bit easier, what I'm going to do is change the signs of everything and multiply through by 2, and that's just to make it easier. You could use the quadratic formula at this point, but I'm going to go times through by negative 2, everything on this side and everything on this side, and by doing so to times this through by negative 2 basically means it just ends up with positive x squared. Then I will have minus 210x, and then changing the sign, plus 2,000. just check I'm all good here. Yep, it's looking good. Okay, so at this point, we need to use the quadratic formula. You can try and factorise, of course, fully into that, but it's probably better I show you how to use the quadratic formula in the event you weren't able to factorise this. So what I will do now is I'll just pause. Okay, so just continuing on, using the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So here we go. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times by c all divided by 2a. So let's look to simplify that. So minus a negative, 210, plus or minus. So if we've got negative 210 all squared, remember it is all squared, so that gives us 44,100 minus off 8,000. So we've got 210 plus or minus 36,100, the square root of 36,100, all divided by 2. And when we square root that, we get 190. So it's 210 plus 190, all divided by 2, or 210 minus 190, all divided by 2. So our two solutions we get there is either x equals 200 or x equals 10. So at this point, we need to work out their corresponding y values. So when x equals 200, y equals 205 minus a half times 200, which is equal to 105. Or when x equals 10, y equals 205 minus a half times 10, so it's going to be 5. So 205 to minus 5, we've got 200. So at this point here, we need to go to that equation 3 that we'd created, which was that x plus y needs to be greater than 300. So let's test it for this situation here. So if we've got 200 plus 105, is it greater than 300? Yes, it is. If we try it when x equals 10 and y equals 200, is it greater than 300? No, it's not, okay, because it's only 210. So that means that the correct solution is going to be x equals 200 child tickets and y equals 105 adult tickets. And you can always do your check by using equation 2, it would have been. And when you substitute those in, you cannot use equation 1 or equation 2, but equation 1 you've already used here. And when you substitute in your check into equation 2, you should find that that in fact works. So I'll leave that there. It's quite a long video. Hopefully that's helped for 2011.